Okay, so last week I did an unscripted, impromptu video covering what my concerns were with the news of the live-action Titan series Warner Bros. Announced early last week. And in doing that, I made possibly my worst video. There's a reason I don't normally do unscripted content. But I decided to do a follow-up video covering the opposite. Express my excitement at the idea of a live-action Titan series, and talk about how I would do it. Also, this time I wrote all of this out beforehand, so there won't be as many moments of dead air while I figure out what the hell it is I'm talking about. So first off, if I were planning a Titan series, I'd put it in the Arrowverse. 1, because we already have a pre-established world with rules you don't have to make up as you go. 2nd, pre-existing versions of characters. I specifically refer to potentially convincing Colton Haynes to come back as Roy Harper. Wishful thinking, I know. In that vein, I'd also bring in Keenan Lonsdale from The Flash as Wally. I mean, give the Titans a speedster, for God's sake. There's nothing about the Arrowverse that would contradict any of the currently announced characters. Nightwing might be a little difficult, but they could easily sidestep around that whole Batman thing. Wouldn't be the first time in that universe. But Raven, Season 4 of Arrow confirmed magic. Starfire, the Invasion crossover confirmed aliens. And just imagine Manu Bennett reprising the role of Deathstroke. And that leads me to my next idea. Part 2. Bring in Deathstroke in Season 1 for one episode. Not as a season-long big bad, just as a one-off villain of the week. Show the audience that Slade Wilson is still here, he's still a badass, and he's still a threat. Then, hoping the show gets more than one season, bring him back maybe in Season 3. Then you do the season-long Deathstroke arc. Yes, Arrow already did that in Season 2, but so what? Eobard Thawne was the big bad of Season 1 for The Flash. Then, guess who suddenly became the big bad for Season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow? Plus, they can easily tell a whole new type of story using the same antagonist. Part 3. Tara. Just don't use her. Everyone already knows her story. Even people who don't read comics know her story because of the 2003 animated series. That's not to say that they can't do the betrayal arc. Put a new spin on it. Use a character no one would expect. How about Danny Chase? He's not especially popular, so you're probably not going to get a huge amount of fan backlash when you make a classic character evil. Or, go super deep cuts and use one of the lesser-known pre-Crisis Titans and revamp them to fit the series. As to when I think they should do that, I'd probably do it the same season as my proposed Deathstroke arc. Part 4. The lineup. We already have confirmation of 4 team members for the series: Dick Grayson, Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy. Here's who I would add to that. Roy Harper and Wally West, as already mentioned, but I do have one other character I'd add. Donna Troy. She's one of the classic Titans characters, and is just as iconic for the team as Dick, Roy, and Wally. You don't even need Wonder Woman to be established to use her. Just introduce her as Troya, don't even mention the name Wonder Girl. Plus, she's one of the few characters that are choose-your-own-adventure with their backstory. You can rewrite her origin, and people can't really complain since the comics didn't even stick to the comics' origin story. But seriously, just introduce her as an Amazon. I mean, after everything we've seen on Arrow, Flash, and Legends, would Greek mythology really be that big of a shock? That's my preferred lineup. Are there any other characters I wouldn't mind seeing? Of course, but my list already has 7 characters, and I want to keep this at least somewhat realistic. Also, note that so far Dick Grayson has only been listed as Dick Grayson. They have yet to say if he's Nightwing, if he's Robin, or if he even has a codename at all. I hope to God they don't just call him Dick. If we're gonna have names like The Flash and Green Arrow, we can have Nightwing. Part 5. Why they come together. In my hypothetical series, I would have the team come together because of Raven. Just take some inspiration from the Wolfman Perez series. Have Raven form the team, and have her tell them some major threat was coming. Don't specifically say Trigon right away, just hint at it. Or, if you do name him right away, downplay the fact that Raven is his daughter. Let that be a revelation later in the series. Is it a weak plot? Kind of, but it's just the first season. Let the series find its legs before getting too complicated. I'm not saying the writing should be lazy. I'm just saying they should try and stay closer to the source material early on, then go ahead and go off in its own direction. And yes, I'm suggesting a demon apocalypse as the Season 1 arc. You need some reason to bring these characters together, why not a giant demon? So, what other villains would I include besides Trigon and Deathstroke? For one, Cheshire. If only for her storyline with Roy. Because, come on. It's a Greg Berlanti-produced DC Comics series. It's going to have some sort of romantic element. Another villain I would throw in? Brom Stick in one episode, either the first or the second, if only as a reference to the team's generally agreed upon first appearance. Actually, I take that back. Don't do that for the first episode. Dedicate the first episode to the team origin. Take some time to introduce the characters. Give an explanation as to why Roy is Arsenal again. Have a scene where Wally tells Team Flash that he's leaving to join the new team. Show Nightwing in action, probably in Bloodhaven. Show Starfire leaving Tamaran, etc. And that's how I would do a live-action Titans series. Is there any chance any of this will happen? Hell no. Just some guy on YouTube with 2 subscribers. I'm not a professional writer or a producer or really anyone with any sort of power. I'm just a fan. A very passionate, sometimes overexcited fan. Chances are it won't even be set in the Arrowverse. Notice how none of the information released so far have mentioned any characters we've seen before. It'll probably be easier for them to just put it in its own universe rather than to try and explain how we can have Nightwing in a universe with no Batman. If you're still here, thank you for indulging my glorified fanfiction. I plan on getting back to my usual content, soon. Slowly working on a new script, and my classes are ending for the semester, so I should have more time to write. Maybe it won't be another 6 months until my next history video.